It was me, General Senona, and General Mkhwanazi only.
So there were only 3 people in the apartment?
Yes.
Okay. Did you sit around a table?
On a couch, yes.
You sat at a couch, not around a table?
Yeah, there's a couch. Yeah, there's a couch. There's a table. I sat on my couch, and General Mkhwanazi was sitting on another couch, but he was sitting like on top, putting his feet, his legs on top of the couch, like he was leaning on top of that thing to balance the couch with. You see that
Okay.
armrest of the couch.
So is that where you had your discussions, sitting?
Yes, and then General Senona was sitting on the side.
Sitting on this side where? Sitting on the couch next to you?
No, not next to me. That apartment is not huge, but it's not next to me. There was another table, and a small table and chairs, but it's not like, I'll say maybe 3 meters away.
And he was sitting 3 meters away, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
And was he present for the discussion that you had with General Mkhwanazi?
Yes, he was.
And was he... Well, let me pause for a moment there. The conversation you had with him, General Mkhwanazi, did you start off then talking about the Medicare 24 purchase orders problem?
Yes, I did.
And did you say to him you wanted access, or you wanted him to speak to General Nkua on your behalf?
Yes, I did.
And did you say to General Mkhwanazi anything else in relation to the contract other than the purchase orders?
No, it's only that.
Did you not speak about any investigations against you?
Yeah, but now we are on the contract. Okay, we're done with the contract. We are on something next topic now.
No, I'm just trying to understand what you discussed.
Investigation is something different. Yes, we did, but I thought maybe we were still on the contract issue.
So you told him about the problem with the purchase orders. We've got that.
Yes, yes.
You said you wanted him to assist you with General Nkua. We've got that.
Yes.
You had other discussions in that meeting that wasn't just about the purchase orders, correct?
Yes.
That is where they met, Cat and Snona. Whether inside the hotel or at the parking, I was not there, but they met at the hotel. Because after that, Snona, first time I saw Snona driving a Polo car. You know, this one is driven by these Uber boys, the small car, VW. Snona was driving that car. He called me, he said, I'm with Cat, we are driving this Polo, we are getting out of Oyster Box. So I said, okay, come up because I'm in the vicinity. He gave me a description of the car. I spotted the car. Then I said, okay, I see I'm driving this car in front of you, the Mercedes-Benz. Can you see it? He said, yeah, no, we can see it. I said, okay, follow me. So I drove them down towards Pavilion, Beverly Hills Hotel, around into Pels. There's a parking at the bottom there for those that know Umhlanga, towards the beach. So we enter in there, into the boom gate. I show my face, the boom gate opens. I go in, I tell the security to open for him. They open for them, and they followed me. Some 50 meters we park, we walk, we get out of the cars, we walk into the lift, into your apartment. Honorable Chair, that apartment from where we're seated in a 3-seater dining room table, a glass table, can only seat 3 people. Where I'm sitting, at least a meter is the wall. Behind me, a meter, it's another wall. On this side, it's a lounge that will be at least maybe about where Honorable Skosana is seated. That's where the TV is.
Former KwaZulu-Natal Hawks head Major General Lesitja Senona allegedly gave Vusimuzi Matlala sensitive police documents containing the personal details of officers before the pair travelled to Umhlanga for a meeting with Provincial Police Commissioner Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi. The disclosure emerged on Wednesday during Matlala's testimony before the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry, where Advocate Adila Hasim questioned him about his relationship with Senona and their interactions with Mkhwanazi. Hasim put it to Matlala that Senona had sent him a document via WhatsApp containing police information, including officers' names, ranks, and identity numbers, as well as photographs and other personal details. Matlala confirmed that he had received and viewed the document. Hasim said, "You went through it when he sent it to you." He said, "Yes, I did." He told the commission that he had not asked Senona for the documents. The documents were allegedly linked to another matter involving Mozambican businessman Ismail Nengi, whom Matlala said Senona had instructed him to approach about withdrawing criminal charges against police officers. Nengi has been linked to alleged violent kidnapping for ransom syndicates operating across Mozambique and South Africa. He later launched civil and criminal claims against senior South African police officials, accusing them of unlawful arrest, assault, extortion, and torture. Among those implicated in his allegations were Mkhwanazi and Senona, whom Nengi accused of torturing him on a farm in an attempt to extract confessions. Hasim asked Matlala what Senona had told him about the documents. Matlala said, "He told me that I must speak to this guy, Nengi." According to Matlala, he subsequently approached Nengi, who indicated that he was willing to withdraw the charges. However, other complainants, including his brother-in-law, were not prepared to do the same. Evidence placed the exchange before a meeting at the Pulse in Umhlanga in April 2025 involving Matlala, Senona, and Mkhwanazi. Matlala told the commission that former Police Minister Bheki Cele had been trying to arrange a meeting between him and Mkhwanazi after he complained about problems involving South African Police Service purchase orders. Cele eventually facilitated the meeting. Matlala said, on the day of the meeting, Senona collected Matlala from the oyster box and drove him to the Pulse, where they went to an apartment. Matlala said only the three men were present. The meeting initially centered on his concerns about SAPS purchase orders, but Hasim also questioned him about whether the sensitive police documents and Nengi matter were discussed with Mkhwanazi. Matlala said the issue involving the documents was raised, although he could not recall precisely how the subject came up. Hasim then turned to what Matlala had told Parliament's ad hoc committee investigating allegations of police criminality. By the time Matlala appeared before the committee on April 15, he had already received the documents from Senona and had discussed the Nengi matter with him, yet he did not disclose those interactions in his evidence. Hasim questioned Matlala on why he had omitted the information. Matlala initially said he could not remember before acknowledging that he had not disclosed it, said, "I didn't think that was important." Senona has previously faced questions at the Matlanga Commission over his decision to share police information with Matlala. He defended providing an affidavit containing officers' personal details, saying he wanted to warn Matlala about Nengi, who lived in the same estate as him. The commission has heard that the information allegedly included officers' identity numbers, cell phone numbers, and station details. Senona has denied wrongdoing and maintained that his relationship with Matlala was personal rather than professional. He has also acknowledged accompanying Matlala to the meeting with Mkhwanazi at the Pulse, although he said he could not provide details of what was discussed. Meanwhile, the Matlanga Commission has heard that the businessman Steve Mutsomi loaned Vusimuzi Matlala 5 million rand in 2024 for one of his government-related business ventures. Matlala testified that the loan was formalized through an acknowledgement of debt and was used to fund renovations for a hospital lease project at the SAPS Pretoria West College. Matlala told the commission that 5 million rand was the first time he had a lease agreement with Public Works for the hospital facility. He said he needed the money specifically to renovate the building. He added that the loan was fully paid in 2025. Bank records presented to the commission support that the 5 million rand was paid back. Matlala said the loan was not interest-free and that he was arrested before he could pay the interest. He stressed that this funding was separate from a later proposed 20 million rand investment from Mutsomi that ultimately did not materialize. That larger amount had been discussed when the 228 million rand SAPS Health and Wellness contract held by Matlala's company was at risk of cancellation. Matlala confirmed that he knows Mutsomi and that they completed a commercial transaction in which Mutsomi's company advanced money to one of his companies. He maintained that the relationship was limited to business. Mutsomi is the founder of Mutsomi Bros Investment Group and has interest in security, construction, money lending, mining and the textile industry. He has been mentioned in previous testimony before the commission in connection with other figures under investigation. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.